Today, using Wi-Fi to transform spaces into intelligent spaces with the UK-based startup Purple. Find out what that is all about right after this short message. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Wi-Fi Now TV. My name is Claus Hetting, and I'm the host of this program. And this, of course, is the interview program that brings you all the great stories and not least all the great people from across the Wi-Fi industry. So today, my guest is Krista Geiger. She represents a Wi-Fi company that's doing a huge amount of pioneering work in public Wi-Fi. The company is called Purple. And it's based in the UK, but Krista is actually going to be coming to us from Cincinnati, I think, today. Purple's already racked up 20 million users, can you believe it, on their platform. We'll get you all the details about that in just a moment. Now, before we do that, I want to make sure that you know that we're taking Wi-Fi Now, the expo and conference, to the great city of Washington, D.C. This April 18th to 20th. We were there last year, and we just had a great time there. It was a great show. So we're going back in about 3 months' time, and we're already open for business. So you can reserve your ticket, and if you're interested in exhibiting or some other role at Wi-Fi Now DC, better be quick because we're filling up fast. For all the details, go to wifinowevents.com/USA. And if you have any questions, drop me a line at klaus@wifinowevents.com. So here's a company, and we're going to be interviewing Krista Geiger in just a second. Here's a company transforming spaces into intelligent spaces with Wi-Fi, of course. So my guest today is Krista Geiger. She's market development leader at Purple. Krista, welcome to Wi-Fi Now TV. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
Well, I'm delighted that you're here. I've been wanting to do a Purple interview for a long time, so we finally managed to do it, which is great. So before we dig into the details, Krista, give us the 1 minute overview of what Purple is all about.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Yeah, so Purple, it's a cloud-based software solution that lays on top of a guest Wi-Fi network. And we all know guest Wi-Fi is growing by leaps and bounds globally with 100 million access points estimated. So we can lay on top of those networks and allow the customer, to understand who's coming in the facility, use social login to get demographics, lay that on top of with IT stats around the usage, pull it together into a marketing friendly platform that marketers can then start to monetize their network by driving better customer experience using email, text message, on-property messaging, and a lot of other functionality.
So right. So you guys have already made a lot of headway into this because 20 million users on your platform, and that covers all kinds of venues, presumably, and some carriers as well. Yeah. Can you give us a slightly deeper view of what kind of strategies that you use to help your clients monetize their Wi-Fi services?
Sure. You really can look at it, and it all comes down to the type of venue, right? And what their ultimate marketing objectives are. So in a case like Indiana Pacers, where, 40% of people that walking into a stadium, the venue owner may not know who it is. You bought the ticket on StubHub or scalped it. And so for the Pacers or large venues, it's understanding who's coming back and then tailoring that customer experience to them to get them to come back again and again, right? If I'm a repeat visitor and I'm scalping tickets each time, right? Once I have your information, then I can drive you to a multi-pack or season ticket. So it's really starting to kind of understand what their really objectives are and helping them build that. And so in the technology can help build the customer experience, or it can be a great platform to sell sponsorships, right? Yeah, simple sponsorship can pay for this tool. And then again, you're still getting all of that rich user data. And then, email generation being real time. If I walk into a retailer and I'm given a email to say, hey, thanks for coming back, here's 20% off, it's increasing my chance that I'm going to purchase that time, or driving me back a third or fourth time to bring additional revenue. So a lot of different ways to kind of monetize, all based on what that marketing objective of our user is.
Mm-hmm. So you started off, because I've been following you guys for, I think, years since you guys started way back. You started off very much focused on the social media logo aspect, and you still
Yeah.
do that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the core, right? It's all about accessing guest Wi-Fi and giving the brand that's implementing this the ability to use social authentication, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever medium is right to drive people on there. And that's giving them a richer profile of that user outside of just an email address. So now they can use a Facebook login as you would in a lot of different apps that you're signing up for. And you can get email address, but you can also get age and gender and some social interest, right? And you pair that with the amount of visits that are happening, and it really is a much more robust profile. And then over the course of the 5 years that we've been in business, we've started from a social, right? Just enhancing that onboarding experience to now a wealth of, tools to drive monetization and take it to that next level. So.
And the analytics part is also a big part of what you do. And of course, there is a lot of talk and a lot of action as well, actually, in this industry on using data, to monetize Wi-Fi. How do you see that? Is that a critical component for you guys as well?
Yeah, data is everything, right? I mean, Google perfected it online when, they started to, follow you and PPC and being able to advertise to you based on what you're searching for. And so really this brings it onto the guest Wi-Fi space. So now that data, that rich source of data, marketers can take what's happening in their stores or in their venues, lay that on top of maybe what's happening online and a user profile, and really tailor that communication specifically to you, the user. And it's all about, getting you to come back again, or just giving you a better kind of feeling about the brand versus just being, spammed email over and over with messages that don't resonate. And so really the analytics is allowing, that ability to just be a better communicator with their end user.
Right. And the other thing I wanted to ask you about in terms of monetization, I know you guys have done quite a lot of work on location-based services, I should say. And you have various partnerships with various vendors, I know. And also, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the idea is still to be essentially hardware agnostic, to be able to work with various hardware, hardware vendors. Yeah. Specifically on the LBS, how do you see that? Is that something that you're pursuing a lot these days?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, we are vendor agnostic. We work over about 57 different access point brands. So if a customer already has something installed, I mean, good chances we can very easily lay on top. And that's the nice thing about it, no hardware. But, there are some specific brands like Cisco, Meraki, Ruckus, and Aruba that have the location. They're pulling that data. They're taking that XY data, and we're using that, pulling it into our platform. And it's really amazing how that information can transform it. Kind of, I keep going back to the customer experience, but if you think about a stadium or convention center, which we have quite a few, if you understand how the user is flowing through that facility, it can help you, again, position signage in a better way, right? Sponsorship signage, or position a kiosk in a better place where it's going to get more traffic. And so, location, presence data, and analytics around the user's journey is really, it's really powerful stuff when it comes to kind of those, larger venue spaces like a big box retailer, to understand how long people are shopping within a particular zone or not. So, not every hardware vendor can do it, but on those kind of, I would say, some of the leaders in the market that are building in that technology, we can take that data and put it into a usable format, and then we can start to market from it. So, a customer using our solution then can start to real-time email or send a text message if you come into the venue and you hit a particular seating area, maybe of a stadium. You can say, hey, have you visited our VIP suite today, or visited the pro shop? So pretty powerful stuff.
There's a lot of ways to do it as well, and a lot of flexible tools in the toolbox, so to speak.
Yeah.
So can you mention maybe one or two sample cases? I know you already mentioned a sports venue that you're working with. Any other good cases out there, maybe also from some different types of vendors?
Sure. So we really run across a lot of different verticals, right? So stadium being one, convention centers being another, but then you think about leisure properties, so zoos. We have 2 zoo properties. And that again, there's 2 things driving a zoo. So they're using they want a great customer experience. They want to flow people into the right exhibits and have them spend the right amount of time. But they're also nonprofits or city driven, like the St. Louis Zoo. It's city funded. So advertisers and monetization around that is really important. So before they had a guest Wi-Fi network, but they were not doing anything with it, just giving free Wi-Fi. Now they have a digital advertising space to start to add value. It's a value add for their current vendors, their current sponsors. It's another way to connect with the consumer about their brand. Same with like the Cincinnati Zoo is one of them. So leisure properties are really big with Merlin Entertainment, which owns like Legoland. They're slowly rolling this out globally into aquariums and Madame Tussauds. Again, it goes back to understand, someone bought a ticket, but 4 people might have come with that ticket purchase. Who are those other people? Understanding more about them and getting them to, come back a second, third, fourth time, getting them to buy memberships all around that monetization strategy. So a lot of different verticals. Retail is a big one, right? Big box retailer, as well as multi-site venues. The ability to understand what's happening across maybe 20 of your stores versus kind of just one property is really insightful from a repeat visit standpoint.
So this is really the market opportunity for both you guys and a number of other companies, in that there's so many venues out there that, exactly as you said, they give away free Wi-Fi, but they don't particularly do anything with it,
right,
other than giving away free access, essentially.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
here's a chance to add value to themselves, obviously, but not only that, also to their guests, right?
Yeah, there's a huge value. And especially, IT budgets are so tight right now. A Cisco innovation officer told us that 89% of the IT budgets are just around maintaining, right, what you have. So if you can come in and provide a solution, and in the scheme of these networks is low cost, when you talk about hardware and backbone networks, and give you an ability to pay for that solution and add more money back into the organization to do more innovative things. I mean, it's a great story to tell, but there's a huge opportunity. I mean, I think, I saw a recent study that said I think there's $55 billion worth of, in the next 10 years around software sales, around technology and analytics specifically. So a lot of opportunity out there, because you're right, as guest Wi-Fi became a demand by consumers, companies just started adding in hardware, but then now they're left with, okay, well now what, right? Now what do I get from it? Do I need to maintain it? And that's where the IT budget comes in and says, hey, I'm spending a lot of money, but not getting in return. And so that's where, if a partner can go and provide an end-to-end solution, including Purple and a great hardware, it really helps that story and helps, build that monetization case.
So, right. And I think we touched on this already, but I do want to ask you a little bit more specifically how you see the technology for this. We're talking about intelligent spaces, which, by the way, I think is a great little term. And use cases evolving for this over the next few years. We're also seeing, in fact, a lot of activity in the city Wi-Fi area. These tools, these technologies will apply, right, to all of these segments.
Absolutely, and I think, in the next 5 or so years, you're going to see a lot of city Wi-Fi, as you mentioned, but it's really integrating all of these, right? So the goal in the next few years is to start, now you understand what's happening on your online, through your analytics. Now you know what's happening in your venue live, real time. But how do you trigger, how do you merge that with POS sales, and how does weather? So right now we can filter in the weather. So you can now understand how traffic at an outdoor venue like a zoo, what is the different temperatures and, affect the consumer traffic, and how do I message to them? And then how do I link in maybe your parking meters, right? So when you start, into this intelligent space, if the weather and the visitor traffic is low, maybe the parking meter cost goes low. And that's how you're going to start to see all of these things start to build together and go into that intelligent space, all kind of interacting into the platform. So that's
well, it's a super vision, and I want to thank you for coming on and sharing that with us. I think Purple's done, as I said, tremendous amount of work. And you're also, I don't know how famous, quote unquote, Purple is in America. Maybe you are now, actually, after this.
We're getting there, right?
We can only hope. But you actually have been very well known, certainly in Europe where I am. So what's the trick of the trade? How did you guys get?
I think a couple things. I think, Gavin, our CEO, did an amazing job out of the gate, really building credibility with those top service providers, top partners. We're a Cisco ecosystem partner. We're already within 8 of the top 20 service providers globally. So, that was kind of strategy number one, is to build credibility and those kind of leaders in the market. And they started in the European market, and now in the last, year and a half or so in the US market. So hopefully we can be as successful in the US, which I know we will be, because again, we have the backbone of those kind of key partners and infrastructure and the credibility and the security of our platform is a priority for us too. So, we'll see what the next 5 years brings. Hopefully we'll be talking a few years from now and it'll be an even bigger success story than we already are.
Well, Krista, I want to thank you for coming on, probably from your living room, I imagine.
Well, my office, the close.
Yeah, so your office. Okay. Well, thanks a lot for coming on and sharing those opinions with us. And hope to see you soon again. And you're always welcome on the show. We like what you do. All right. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Bye. All right, everybody, that's it for this week's show. Big thanks to Krista Geiger from Purple for joining us there. Next week, we will have Serious Works on this program to discuss how to manage traffic on Wi-Fi networks. So that'll be really good as well. All that is left for me to say is thank you for watching and see you again next week.
Wi-Fi Now is a production of RCR TV News. To suggest a show topic or to learn more about Wi-Fi Now events, you can reach Claus Hetting at klaus@hettingconsulting.com. To find out more about Wi-Fi Now and all things wireless, visit rcrwireless.com.